All right, we are ready to move on with our afternoon press conferences. First up, Carl Edwards, driver of the number 99 Fastenal Ford. Carl, you just finished 15th in this opening practice. Already have a win under your belt this year, so you're looking good for the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Talk about coming to Martinsville Speedway and your approach for the weekend.
This is the most fun I've had coming to Martinsville for a while. We've got basically no pressure. We got to try a bunch of stuff in practice. We've got the first garage stall, which I've never been in before at Martinsville, so that's pretty neat. And the car, our Fastenal Ford was pretty good. I thought we would be better than that. We laid down, I thought it was a pretty good lap and qualifying trim, but it didn't seem very good, so we're going to kind of swing for the fence and qualifying. Hopefully we'll have a good solid lap to get us through that first round.
Great, thanks a lot. We'll open up for questions. Please start with your name and affiliation. Wait for the wireless mic, and we'll start over here with Jared.
Yeah, Jared Turner, Fox Sports. As you kind of alluded to, Carl, this hasn't been your best track in the past.
That's a good way, nice way to put it.
Yeah. What leads you to believe that this weekend could be different, though?
Well, I'm kind of the eternal optimist when it comes to Martinsville. It doesn't seem to work out, but I feel like we have an opportunity to try some things because of our position in the points, already having a win. Jimmy's and the guys over there making bigger adjustments than we would normally make. If we get to practice tomorrow, if the weather holds off, then the reason I'm optimistic is because we can try all those things, and I feel like we may find something where if we were a little more nervous, we probably would be less. We'd be more reluctant to take those big swings at it. So we're not worried about wasting time. We're not worried about making mistakes. We're just going to go out and be extremely aggressive, and that's a fun way to be able to come to race at Martinsville.
We're going to go down the front row here. We're going to go Dustin, Bob, Nate, and Al.
Dustin Long, MRN.com to your right. Like you mentioned, you feel like you're a pretty good shot of making the chase based on the win. 5 different winners, first 5 races. Right. This is a track where the guys who haven't won seem like could add to that. Yeah. So at what point do you get a little bit concerned, or does it have to go 9, 10, 11 races before you worry about that?
Well, I believe, and it's held true so far, I believe we're going to have more than 16 winners. It feels that way. It feels like there are more competitive cars. The margin of victory is smaller. I should say the margin of victory. The disparity between the field, throughout the field is smaller between the cars. So I believe that it's not just the win that has us feeling like we can be aggressive. It's our points position. If we were 20th in points right now, we would feel a lot different. So we're still, if we were to have trouble the next couple weeks and fall in points, we would go back to racing just slightly more conservatively so that we didn't fall any farther. But I feel like if we can go another month or month and a half and we're still leading the points or close, I feel like we'll be locked in. But the easiest way for us, though, is to just go win a race. So right now we're going to go for it, try to get that win while we have the points to lose.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. Last week, Denny Hamlin was told by doctors in the care center that he couldn't race because of his vision. Do you think that will impact whether drivers will go to the care center if they're kind of questioning something before the race? And how confident are you in medical staffs at tracks to make that decision whether you should race or not?
I've been unfortunate enough to have a lot of interaction with the medical staff in NASCAR over the years, and I don't know the specifics of Denny's situation. I still don't understand exactly what happened as far as a timeline and who told him what he could or couldn't do. But I can tell you this, that the medical staff in NASCAR knows more about me and keeps better tabs on me than any doctor I've ever been around, maybe except for my wife. But they're amazing. I mean, they and I'll say another thing. I think that at first blush, when you think about, hey, we should, people say we should have a traveling team of doctors. Well, being around, the few doctors I've been around, it seems that I personally feel very comfortable with local doctors, with the way NASCAR goes and finds the folks that are working day in and day out. So if I have a major injury, let's say here at Martinsville or something, I feel pretty confident that I can, that'll be taken care of by a doctor who's A, he's dealing with that stuff all the time, and B, he's very familiar with the local medical facilities and the way that the care works there. So, as I learn more about Denny's situation, I obviously have a couple of questions, but man, I feel pretty good. I've had great interaction with the medical staff at NASCAR.
Nate?
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Carl, you mentioned the struggles at Martinsville. It hasn't just been you, obviously. It's sort of team-wide for Roush Fenway. Matt Kenseth last year goes to Joe Gibbs Racing and has two of the best finishes he's ever had here and runs up front.
I noticed that.
Yeah. But was that a wake-up call a bit for Roush?
And at first it's it's a little embarrassing for our whole company. It's like, man, we need to do a better job, and all of us do. But then we talked about it. Actually, Reiser and I talked about it. It's the best thing that could happen for us, because it reminds us that, hey, we can do it. Because, that's always a question. You sit in the meeting, and I'm not certain, I can't speak for Matt, but listening to him talk, I don't think he thought he was very good at Martinsville. And that's how I felt for a long time. But seeing him do that made me realize, okay, maybe I am able to do it. Maybe I just need to communicate better. Maybe I need to work with the engineers better. Maybe I need to pay more attention to the other cars. So it's a pretty good motivator, and we actually talked about it a lot at the shop. That shows us that it can be done, that we can go do it. That's why we look forward to this race, particularly with our points position. We can try some things that we haven't tried before, and hopefully it works out.
Carl, Al Pearson, Auto Week. Let me ask you a question about a non-Martinsville question. Have y'all even thought ahead to what qualifying will be like at Talladega, since it will be the first time on a plate track y'all have done it? Has it even thought about it yet?
I haven't much, because I think it's going to be so chaotic. I don't know. And I think our guys at Daytona, our nationwide group, thought about it a lot, and we ended up messing it up a little bit there. I know we had one event where we knew it was going to rain out. We knew it was going to rain out the qualifying. I think it was last year, and so basically everyone went into qualifying knowing that your time was going to be what you were stuck with in practice. And so it was like that. And guys, it was insane. I remember it was Jimmy Johnson and me and someone else coming to the line trying to run down the group, and then we all scattered at the end, and I almost wrecked, in practice. But we ended up getting the pole there. So it was pretty fun. I just hope we don't tear up cars, but it's a pretty neat. It'll be a neat place to do it. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Wynn Harold, BTW 21 News. Now, how does the new qualifying setup here affect in y'all's driving, and do you believe you can, with this new setup, make it into victory lane?
It's tough because, every track's different. We haven't done it here, and I still don't know how many laps we'll run the first time out. I don't know if we'll go out and run 3 laps or 2 laps or 4 laps. I noticed some people were fast on the 4th lap, so... but it all boils down to speed. If you're fast, you can go out there, you can do your thing in the first round, sit, advance, and run again. The panic comes when you go out there and you run a mediocre lap, and you sit there, you're 10th, 11th, 12th, and then you have to go make a second run and hope it's better. And we did that at Vegas and at California. So, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I don't know how it's going to work here, but hopefully it'll work well.
Jeff Ross, ESPN. Carl, you study tape a lot, I know, and between Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, they have 16 wins here. When you look at their tapes here, what do you see that makes them so successful?
I don't want to say specifics. I see some things that I've been working on, but those guys are very good here, and I've talked to Jimmy a little bit about it, and he just says, "Oh, you'll figure it out," and it's he's really nice about it, and he changes the subject, but. Those guys are very spectacular here. They're very good. I know my first few years, I would get out of the car, go down and stand and watch Jeff Gordon, and the way he drives around here is just so smooth and precise, and they're able to do things that I'm not able to do. So I've just got to keep working on it.
Carlos Mendez, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Eddie Gossage tweeted last week that this is the most exciting start to a NASCAR season he's seen in years because the finishes are so unpredictable. Do you get the same sense?
Yeah, I do, and I have to admit I was one of the biggest skeptics of the point system and the changes of the car and all that stuff, but it's really proven to be better, and I hope it continues that for the rest of the season. It's been very good. So it's easy for me to say that in the position we're in. We're leading the points with a win, and our season's going as planned. but it appears to be pretty entertaining. I hope the fans are enjoying it. I don't have any major complaints.
Charles Work Star News. Do you think your problems here are your driving or the setup?
Like we talked about, I'm not sure. But seeing what Matt Kenseth was able to do, that makes me think that there's hope for me. But man, this place is so tough, and I think that I've seen guys run in cars that were fast. I've seen guys practice other guys' cars and still have trouble. So it appears it's a combination. I feel like you have to have the car perfect, and then there's some timing. I mean, Bobby Hamilton spent some time with me here one time, and he talked to me a lot about the way he drove around and the rhythm that he had, and I've had a couple flashes where we've run really well, but man, it's been maybe one time I've had the car where I felt like, man, I'm making progress. I've got this figured out. I just have to figure out, A, what I want in the car, B, how to get it, and then C, I've got to be able to drive it that way through the whole race. So, once we get it put together, it'll be good. But, it's not an Atlanta or a Bristol or a place where I go to and I understand the way the track works and everything. I'm still missing something.
We'll wrap up in the back of the room.
Okay. Yeah, Barry Richmond, Piedmont Broadcasting Corporation. Carl, sort of addressing off-track strategy with having the win this early in the season, do you all have sort of revamped the strategy of what testing is going to look like for at least the first half of the season?
It's a really good question. I put on a dry erase board, kind of my wish how we do it, but there's other things we have to do too. I mean, we have to, as an organization, we can't devote everything to as if all the cars are in the chase right now. I mean, we're not in it, and Ricky and Greg, I think if they could get a win quickly, I think that it would change our plans, or it would make it easier to make a plan for the year. But right now we still, we have two missions. We've got to get everybody in the chase and then go win the chase. So we're still in the planning stages, I guess. That's a good question though.
All right. Thanks a lot, Carl. Good luck
All right,
this
guys.
weekend.
Thanks a lot.
Coming up next, we'll have Denny Hamlin in here, followed by Darrell Wallace Jr.,